Good morning, everyone. It's Denise from Dobby Books. Before I go any further, I need to apologize for my hair. It's just not, I've tried so many times to put it in some sort of decent ponytail and it's just not cooperating. So, my apologies for that, for its appearance. So, let me tell you what I am really here for today. Next month, there are various things that we as booktubers are dedicating our time to. And one of them happens to be my favorite, which is Middle Grade March. I love middle grade books. They have been for me my go-to reads when I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling down or I need a break from heavy reading. It has simply been my go-to for the longest time. And of course, I collect Newbery Medal winners, Newbery Honor winners. I'm always looking for the original publications that are directed towards an adult audience. I'm always looking for those that have been formatted for young readers as well. So this is just my thing. So Middle Grade March is something I look forward to. And I've been putting together my little stack of possibilities in each category that's been announced for this year. And I will put a link to the booktuber who puts this together every year. She has other booktubers who also host the same thing. And I just so look forward to this. So here are the books. Here are the categories, actually. The first one is you have to have a book with a name in the title. I have a few possibilities here. The first one is Invincible Louisa, the story of the author of Little Women. And if you notice that little gold little medal there, that's because it's a Newbery Medal winner. I don't know what year, but it's a Newbery Medal winner. And it's self-explanatory. Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, the four famous March sisters in Little Women, were more than just storybook characters. The author, Louisa May Alcott, based that book on her own loving family. Her parents and her sisters, Anna, Elizabeth, and May. Jo was the real-life Louisa, the invincible, unconquerable tomboy, whose stories brought her fame and the money her family so desperately needed. In this true story of Louisa May Alcott, you'll find out what really happened to Jo, Louisa, and her sisters, and whether there really was a Laurie. So that's one possibility that I'm considering. The next one is this one. And now Miguel, another Newbery Medal winner. And this says, when you act like an adult but get treated like a child, what else can you do but keep your wishes secret and pray that they'll come true? This is the story of 12-year-old Miguel Chavez, who yearns in his heart to go with the men of his family on a long and hard sheep drive to the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, until his prayer is finally answered with a disturbing and dangerous exchange. So this is by Joseph Krumgold. And this was published, it's an older book here, this was published in 1953. So here's a nice adventure story that I could consider. The next one is entitled Onion John, another Newbery Medal winner, by Joseph Krumgold. And this says, it's one thing to have a father who wants to decide your future. It's quite another when he steals your best friend and tries to change your friend's life too. Even though his father has big plans for him to become an engineer, Andy Rush is perfectly happy working summers in the family hardware store, playing on the Serenity baseball team, and being best friends with Onion John, the last person on earth Andrew Rush Sr. wants to see influencing his son. And this book was published in 1959. So usually with the Newbery Medal winners and the Newbery Honor winners, they're announced for the year after they're published. So if this was published in 59, that means 1960. Onion John was a Newbery Medal winner. And the one before that, and now Miguel, was published, what was it again? 1953. So in 1954. And now Miguel was a Newbery Medal winner. And the last one that I could consider is Carry On, Mr. Bowditch by Jean Lee Latham. A lot of people may be familiar with this, a Newbery Medal winner as well. And on the back it says, in her Newbery Medal winning book, Jean Lee Latham chronicles Nathaniel Bowditch's journey from his modest beginnings to his first sea voyage, to his rigorous self-education, to the triumphs of his fine-tuned mastery of navigation and eventual publication of his famous work, The American Practical Navigator, also known as Sailor's Bible. Nat's amazing discoveries and accomplishments are brought to life for generations of readers in this engrossing maritime biography. So that looks pretty good. And this is the winner of the 1956 Newbery Medal winner. So those are my considerations for books that have a name in the title. The next category is books that have books on the cover. And the first in these that I might be considering is The Inquisitor's Tale by Adam Gidwitz. There's a beautiful hardcover edition of this, and I ended up getting the paperback one. I just love paperbacks. The Inquisitor's Tale, or The Three Magical Children and Their Holy Dog. But if you look at the guy that looks like a monk, he has books in his hand. So that qualified. And this says, the king is ready for war. He is not fighting another army. He is not fighting another king. He is fighting 3 children and their dog. On a dark night in 1242, travelers gather at a small French inn. It is the perfect night for a story, and everyone in the kingdom is consumed by the tale of 3 children. Jean, a peasant girl who has visions of the future, William, a young monk with supernatural strength, and Jacob, a Jewish boy who can heal any wound. Together, their powers will be tested by demons and dragons, cruel knights and cunning monks. From small villages to grand banquet halls, these 3 unlikely friends and their faithful greyhound are chased through France to a final showdown in the waves at the foot of the Abbey fortress of Mont Saint-Michel. And it says it features manuscript illuminations by Hatem Ali. And this is very pretty. So with little black and white illuminations. And there are also, I believe, color ones. I may be wrong. No, there are not. So they're black and white. But I think it's really a beautifully done book. I'm wondering now if the hardback copy has color illuminations. I'll check it out. But here's the first one, a book with books on the cover, The Inquisitor's Tale by Adam Gidwitz. The next one is by Louisa May Alcott, Little Women, and you notice that there's a book on that cover. And on the back, Meg, Jo, Amy, and Beth, 4 little women enduring hardships and enduring adventures in Civil War New England. The charming story of the March sisters, Little Women, has been adored for generations. Readers have rooted for Laurie in his pursuit of Jo's hand, cried over the family's tragedy, and dreamed of traveling through Europe with old Aunt March and Amy. Aspiring writers have found inspiration in Jo's devotion to her writing. In this simple, enthralling tale, Louisa May Alcott has created 4 of American literature's most beloved women. There we go. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. The last one is The Silver Pencil by Alice Dalgleish. This is a Newbery Honor Medal winner, and the girl is sitting on the chair and she has a book on her lap. One special Christmas, Janet Laidlaw's father gives her a silver pencil for her stories, and she begins to write about the lush island of Trinidad and her family's house on the hill. Then Mr. Laidlaw's tragic death forces Janet to leave the only country she has ever known. From one school in cool green England to another in America, Janet tries to find both a home and her life's work. Throughout it all, she uses her silver pencil to turn her life into stories, and her story brings to vivid life a world that has gone forever. That just sounds like a fabulous story. The Silver Pencil by Alice Dalgleish. So those are books with books on the cover. Those are my considerations. The next category is siblings featured as main characters. I have 2 books, possibly 3. The first one is entitled Kira Kira by Cynthia Kadohata, a Newbery Medal winner. On the back it says, Kira Kira, glittering, shining, glittering. That's how Katie Takeshima's sister Lynn makes everything seem. The sky is kira kira because its color is deep but see-through at the same time. The sea is kira kira for the same reason, and so are people's eyes. When Katie and her family move from a Japanese community in Iowa to the deep south of Georgia, it's Lynn who explains to her why people stop on the street to stare. And it's Lynn who, with her special way of viewing the world, teaches Katie to look beyond tomorrow. But when Lynn becomes desperately ill and the whole family begins to fall apart, it is up to Katie to find a way to remind them all that there is always something glittering, kira kira, in the future. There's that. And the second one is The Green Ember by S.D. Smith. I still have to remove that little sticker. My place beside you, my blood for yours, till the green embers rises, or the end of the world. Heather and Pickett are extraordinary rabbits with ordinary lives until calamitous events overtake them, spilling them into a cauldron of misadventures. They discover that their own story is bound up in the tumult threatening to Let's try that again. They discover that their own story is bound up in the tumult threatening to overwhelm the wider world. Kings fall and kingdoms totter. Tyrants ascend and terrors threaten. Betrayal beckons, and loyalty is a broken road with peril around every bend. Where will Heather and Pickett land? How will they make their stand? The Green Ember. So that also looks like a fabulous story. And the third one that I had chose is All the Stars Denied, and that falls into another category as well, which I can bring up with you. But I decided to put it in the historical fiction stack. So here we go. It's not this one, it's the last one I'll show you. The next category is books of historical fiction. The first one is by Patricia Riley Giff, Lily's Crossing, and this is a Newbery Honor winner. On the back it says, as in past years, Lily will spend the summer in Rockaway in her family's summer house by the Atlantic Ocean. But this summer of 1944, World War II has changed everyone's life. Lily's best friend Margaret has moved to a wartime factory town, and much worse, Lily's father is going overseas to the war. There's no one Lily's age in Rockaway until the arrival of Albert, a refugee from Hungary, with a secret sewn into his coat. Albert has lost most of his family in the war. He's been through things Lily can't imagine. But soon they form a special friendship. Now Lily and Albert have secrets to share. They both have told lies, and Lily has told one that may cost Albert his life. Lily's Crossing by Patricia Riley Giff. That's historical fiction. The next one by Esther Forbes, Johnny Tremaine, a Newbery Medal winner. And on the back it says, Johnny Tremaine, a young apprentice silversmith, is caught up in the danger and excitement of Boston in the 1770s, just before the Revolutionary War. Johnny can't help being swept along by the powerful currents that will lead to the Boston Tea Party and the Battle of Lexington. But even more gripping than living through the drama of revolutionary Boston is the important discovery Johnny makes about his own life. Johnny Tremaine. The third one, Number the Stars by Lois Lowry, a Newbery Medal winner. 10-year-old Anne-Marie Johansson and her best friend Ellen Rosen often think about life before the war. But it's now 1943 and their life in Copenhagen is filled with school, food shortages, and the Nazi soldiers marching in their town. The Nazis won't stop. The Jews of Denmark are being relocated. So Ellen moves in with the Johanssons and pretends to be part of the family. Then Anne-Marie is asked to go on a dangerous mission. Somehow she must find the strength and courage to save her best friend's life. There's no turning back now. Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. And the fourth one, this could be under the category of siblings or historical fiction, and I chose historical fiction. It's by Guadalupe Garcia McCall, All the Stars Denied. This would be a reread. Harrowing and important, no, let's go back to here. In the heart of the Great Depression, Rancho Las Moras, like everywhere else in Texas, is gripped by the drought of the Dust Bowl, and resentment is building among white farmers against Mexican Americans. All around town, signs go up proclaiming no dogs or Mexicans and no Mexicans allowed. When Estrella organizes a protest against the treatment of Tejanos in their town of Monteseco, Texas, her whole family becomes a target of repatriation efforts to send Mexicans back to Mexico, whether they were ever Mexican citizens or not. Dumped across the border and separated from half her family, Estrella must figure out a way to survive and care for her mother and baby brother. How can she reunite with her father and grandparents and convince her country of birth that she deserves to return home? There are no easy answers in the first YA book to tackle this hidden history in a companion novel to her critically acclaimed Shame the Stars. Guadalupe Garcia McCall tackles the first mass deportation event that swept up hundreds of thousands of Mexican American citizens during the Great Depression, and how applicable this is to our own day. All the Stars Denied by Guadalupe Garcia McCall. And the final category is what they call a BIPOC. Black, Indigenous, and I forgot what it means now. Black, Indigenous, and people of color, BIPOC. A term I haven't used in a long time. I had to refresh my memory. The first one is by Julius Lester, To Be a Slave. A Newbery Honor winner. And on the back it says, what was it like to be a slave? Listen to the words and learn about the lives of countless slaves and ex-slaves, telling about their enforced journey from Africa to the United States, their work in the fields and houses of their owners, and their passion for freedom. You will never look at life in the same way again. To Be a Slave by Julius Lester. And I know I had another one, but I can't find it right now. Okay, and then their final book, that's a shame, I should have more of those. I don't know where the heck they are. All right, I'll add those in later. And the last one is a book that was chosen by the organizers of Middle Grade March. And this looks like a really cool book. It's entitled Max in the House of Spies, A Tale of World War II by Adam Gidwitz. If that rings a bell, it should, because he wrote this book too. The Inquisitor's Tale. Let me take off that sticker so you can see it properly. The Inquisitor's Tale has the same author as Max in the House of Spies. And on the back, there's a sequel to this, by the way. I'm just like, if I like this book, I'm getting the sequel. All right, the back says, Max doesn't want to be sent to London. He's never left Berlin. He barely speaks English. He doesn't want to live with strangers. Most of all, he doesn't want to leave his parents behind. On the Kinder transport boat to England, Max has never felt more alone until he meets two unexpected traveling companions, a kobold named Berg and a Dybbuk named Stein. Germany is becoming more and more dangerous for Jewish families, but Max is still determined to go home. He's hatching a plan to get back to Berlin. It merely involves accomplishing the impossible, convincing the British to make him a spy. What is this? The sequel to this is Max and the Land of Lies, but this looks like a fantastic edition. It also has an educator material in the back, which is really cool. I love to look at that as well. So these are all my books. Let's see how many I have all together. It's a big stack. I should pick at least one from each category. So I'm going to have to decide there's 1, 2, 3. If I choose one from each, I should be reading 6 books altogether in the month of March. So I've got to reduce this stack to just 6 books. How much are here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've got 15 books here. So I've got to get rid of 9. So that's going to be fun. So there you go, people. Oh. Those are my pile of possibilities for middle grade March, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I don't know if any of you are, but I'll let you know how I did later on. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you like what you saw, what you heard, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again in just a few days. Bye-bye.